Michael Stadermann. I've been with the lab for 11 years. I work in the NIF S&T, I work for the NIF Directorate, and I develop targets. I do the S&T, lead the S&T group for target development. We got to water desalination more or less on accident. I started out with thinking that some of the materials that were developed for the fusion program are very interesting for energy storage. And so we started looking into batteries and capacitors. And it turns out then that there was a group working on site who was using capacitors to remove water, salt from water already. And so I started working with them, and the primary person from that group left, and I took over the group, and then the rest came from there. It was actually a bit hard to get traction for the project after initial funding ran out. We had a good amount of money to start working with, and then there was a, no pun intended, drought in between that funding and follow-up funding. And during that time, I worked with a single graduate student on keeping the project alive and moving it forward. But as of 2 years ago, we got a lot of support from the laboratory, and that has allowed us to push the technology forward much faster than we were able to do before. So right now we're in the process of understanding the technology better. We're trying to build a model to predict how the operational parameters affect the performance of the device. But ultimately what we want to get to is build larger devices and deploy them in the field and test them to see if they do as well as they should. And from there on, it should be a much shorter step to get companies interested in the production of these devices. That a biggest hurdle for getting a technology out into the market is to have someone be interested in it. And for water, there's a specific throughput rate, volume that you need to be able to produce with a device before anybody gets interested in it. And so what we're now getting to is that device size, and then we hope that we will find an industrial partner who can scale up the production of these devices and sell them in large numbers. One of the things it will affect is how a community can use water, because the water that you use goes down the drain and eventually gets into a water treatment plant. And in many cases, the water treatment plant tries to recycle this water and get it back to a user. But a lot of that water is right now loaded heavily with salt, and a big amount of that salt comes from a current water softener. So people who right now soften their water already are adding this extra salt and are preventing an efficient recycling of water. Or at least making it much more expensive to do so. And so with this device now, you can get to a soft water and you don't add this extra load. And maybe even we can get to a point where the technology efficiently takes out salt from the cycle. And so the water actually arrives better at the water treatment plant than it was delivered out. So we know that water is a big problem worldwide as a natural resource, but the disconnect between water, say, for example, or oil, is that the price of water is very, very low. And so it's very difficult to build technology around water, because the people who have the water, or who have the money to develop the technology, don't need the water, and the people who do need the water don't have the money. So it's clear that a steady supply of water for everybody in the world is a very important goal to achieve, but at the same time, it's very difficult to find the money to get to that goal. And so that's what's kept us going, to be able to say we can develop a technology that allows us to provide water for everybody, and we just have to find the right path to get from where we are right now to clean water for everybody.